Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Picnic Table Chat Show. You might hear my 3D printer going behind me. Can't really pause this one. It's just got to go and go and go, otherwise it'll be here forever. Um, so you're probably going to have to put up with that, I'm afraid. But hello, how is everyone? It's probably going to be only a short episode tonight. I am super tired. I'm struggling to stay awake even now. Um, I'll obviously talk about that in a second. But not just that, I haven't actually got that much to talk to you about tonight. Normally, I tell you what I've been up to. I haven't done a lot, mainly due to the same reason that I'm being super tired. I'm still really unwell. Good evening, antisocial. Thanks for coming in, buddy. I'm still really unwell, getting over this chest infection. Obviously, I am a little bit better than I was. I'm talking a bit better, a little bit less coughing. But I'm still not 100%. I'm still absolutely exhausted from it. Good evening, Ants Dorset. So it's only going to be a short one tonight because I am going to get my head down. It seems by about midday, I'm like struggling to stay awake. And then I have a little nap. And by about this time, I'm absolutely smashed. But it is what it is. I will get better. And whatever. So what are we doing tonight? We are watching the Diacama reduction, the Asian bullet ants. I did have some roaches there in the middle of the screen, but obviously they like live or half alive food, and the roaches have walked off. Whilst under attack, they decided to get up and walked off. But there was two roaches there to start with. You'll probably see some ants walking about. If not, I shall find some. And if not, we'll move over to a different tank. The dives are currently in trouble. So I'm not showing them tonight. They're like in the naughty corner. They're already in a corner, but you know what I mean. They keep escaping. And I say that with a laugh sort of thing, but they have been a bit of a pain this week. I turned around the other day basically, and the bridge had moved and was like, I'm guessing it had fallen, a beetle or something might have moved it, I don't know. But the bridge was basically touching the edge of the tank, and they were just having a nice little walk around. I was sat here at the desk, and an ant walked in front of me. I was like, hang on, why is there a dive in front of me? And I turned round and they were just streaming out of the tank, down the wire. Basically, got to go. But thank you very much, Ants Dorset. I appreciate that, buddy. Yeah, they were coming out. They're streaming down the wire. Basically, they had found a pot of waxworms, and they were going through the live waxworms in this pot. Um, and yeah, there was quite a few ants down there. So I dealt with that, and then I looked again, and they had found a way up the back through the wire. Obviously, they were looking for those waxworms by that point, so they were going for every way that they knew to get out the tank. So they've been sort of really pushing me these last few days to get on top of it, and I think we finally have. There's none escaping at the minute, and there's like one or two stragglers still about that I'm finding, but in general, there's none more like getting out and about. What I did in the end was I actually took that whole pot of waxworms and I just stuck it in the tank, and I just let them have it. If they want to go for it, like, there's no way I was going to be able to separate the waxworms from the ants at that point. It was just easier to put the pot in and let them have it. And it was quite interesting to see within a few hours. Yeah, that's it. Within a few hours, they're literally the black with ants, and you couldn't see the waxworms underneath them. They were taking pieces back, and it was pretty cool to watch. In fact, it was very cool to watch. Sorry, Dora just come out. Dora is my gecko. She's come out. She just shed yesterday, I think it was. So she's come out to have a little hello. Hello, Dora. um, yeah, just walking about, bless her. But yeah, so the dives have been a little bit of an annoyance for me lately. We've fed them, and now they've actually gone fairly quiet. There's not even like much going on around the nest or anything like that at the minute. It's fairly quiet. So they've had their fill with that like huge pot of waxworms. There must be about, I don't know, 100 or so waxworms in there. So they're happy with that. What else is going on at the minute? Not an awful lot ant wise. All the ants are sort of ticking along. all the enclosures are happy and plants are growing nice and all of that lot. My messes are growing nice. I've got some a nice species of messer that I'm going to unveil on the channel at some point. I'm just now growing one of my tubs and tubes setups, and when they get big enough, I'll put them into a proper setup. What else we got? We got the tech bees. They're fine. Yeah, all my ants are pretty much fine. The thing I can talk about is my termite colony. Obviously, I've got a termite colony now. They are super cool. A little bit different from ants, but I suppose a little bit easier because they don't require feeding or anything. You just basically make sure they've got wood. And yeah, so they're still in the test tube with the wood stuff that they've come with and a bit extra that I've put in. And I've put the test tube in sort of almost a tubs and tubes situation, but with loads of extra wood. So if they want to move out and into this other wood, they can. There's plenty of food and living space for them. I looked in today after, I haven't looked for a week or two, and they've definitely grown in numbers, and you can see plenty more. I'd like to say eggs. I'm not sure if they are actually eggs or if they're little clumps of dirt or whatever, but they've definitely been busy putting something together. I've still got a lot of learning to go with termites. This is my first termite colony, but they are super cool. And yeah, if you're like, when you get good at ants, definitely have a look into termites. Like I say, they're a little bit different and requirements are different, so it's definitely worth doing your research again. Like I say, get good at one thing before you try another. Learn those basic skills that come from ants, and then you'll have a bit more of a base to go off when you get termites, if you do. I'm not saying you have to, but they are pretty cool. What else has been going on? We've been booking in a few more events. Obviously, I've got some more local events to do, including a library event on the 27th of April. Now, does that ring any bells to anyone? Because I booked it in, it didn't ring any bells to me. And I was like, oh yeah, cool, 27th of April. And then I got home, I was like, hang on, that's my daughter's birthday. It's Amy's birthday, the amazing Amy, on the 27th of April, and I will be at an event. Whoops, but it's fine. I'll make it up to her in the evening. So we'll be at the library. Once a year we do a thing called Ants on the Rock Loose at Weymouth Library, where we basically just turn up for a nice free event with loads of animals and loads of free information and cool stuff to see and do. And we just go up there. It is a ticketed event just because last year we estimated, I think we did we estimated about 50 or so people were going to turn up, and it turned out like 200 or something stupid like that. It was absolutely crazy. I was on my own. I didn't take any staff with me because we were only expecting like 50 people. It might have even been closer to 1,000. Honestly, I don't know. But we've had some pretty insane sessions at the library. It's always a brilliant event at the library. We love going there because they're quite good hosts for us. But not just that. People just come flooding in to see us, and it's great. It's great, but it is ticketed so that we don't get completely overrun this time. I am taking staff with me, so we have quite good capacity with each of the session. We're running multiple sessions all day with a short break in between, so I can pop for a coffee. Because normally we don't even get that. Like last time, I opened the door. We're making a nest at the minute. One of the many nests that we print. It's like it's quite a few nests. It's like a whole bill plate's worth, you know what I mean? What was I saying? I can't even remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, normally like last time when we got in, we literally opened the door. Like I was still setting up and there was people waiting. So we opened the door, and from that moment it was just like boom, 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 like constantly all day. The staff came up and asked if I wanted a break, but there was just so many people. I felt kind of like, let's just carry on, let's just keep going. And then we just plowed through it all day. But yeah, it is nice to have a little break in between. So like you say, they are ticketed sessions, but the tickets are free. It's just to make sure that we don't get completely overrun on a day. It is great fun, and I love those events down at the library. Yeah, I don't even know what we're going to take yet. It is quite a long way away. Obviously, April, we've got plenty to do until then. So you was on about not... So he was on about not having drinks. I'm confused. I'm very confused by that one, Karen. Not having drinks. He was on about not having. Oh, yeah, sorry, no. You were trying to unconfuse me and it confused me more. I get myself again. You were telling me what I was forgetting. Oh, my God. See, this is what I'm dealing with at the minute. I am not 100%. Like, sorry, thank you. Yeah, it's like my brain's just not with it. Whilst I'm like, to be honest, I cough so hard I can like make myself fall over. Look, they've got that roach. There's like 4 or 5 hours. Like the camera's really rubbish because the lighting on them. Like there's quite a lot of lighting on the tank until 10 o'clock when the lights all turn off. There's quite a lot of lighting to make sure the plants are going and whatnot. And yeah, what's that, like 4 or 5 of the ants have dispatched it and are going to drag it into one of their many holes. They've got like 2 or 3 big holes around that big log, and they live underneath it. But they do tend to move the nest about, and they've nested in quite a few different places in the tank as well. It's like they were my like personal colonies, obviously, and I absolutely love them to bits. I've had them for ages now, good couple of years. They're a decent sized and nice strong colony. We do take them to the events with us occasionally, and I net over the top, not for their safety, but for everyone else's basically. People like to stick their hands into things like this for some reason, and it's like don't put your hands in there, they'll sting you. Like, although they're not like the proper bullet ants, they are known as the Asian bullet ants because they do still have quite a potent sting. It's like a really 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 strong bee sting, and it's really itchy, and it's quite irritating, and the more you itch it the more it will sting and become more irritating and annoying. It's not a proper bullet ant. It's not going to leave you like screaming in agony or anything like that, but it is still quite unpleasant. Don't put your hands in basically, but you find like you can put signs up, you can do whatever, and unless you put a net over it, people will still want to put their hands in. So we put a net over this one. A cough since December. I think most people have been ill since like January, December time. Everyone's had this really nasty sickness bug as well, like locally as well. It kind of hit everyone for about a day and then they'd be fine. Hit me for about a week. But yeah, this chest infection, just like, it's like, what's this? My 4th week on antibiotics now, something like that. And I'm getting there, but I'm still not 100%. I've gone up on my other tablets to sort of bring myself back to life a little bit. If it wasn't for them, I'd probably not be. Oh, I'd probably be in bed already. People, it's not that. It's like, I don't know. You get some people when they hear that it's got quite a potent sting, and they're like, "Oh, I'd like to know what that's like." And it's like, no, just don't put your hands in because it will hurt more than you expect. You know what I mean? And like, as much as it doesn't hurt, it does hurt. But it's not that people like aren't smart or stupid or anything like that. I'm not saying that, but people get kind of excited by the fact that they've got this name and whatnot. That's why I'm saying they're not the bullet ants. They are the Asian bullet ants. Quite different. I would love to get a colony of the proper bullet ants just for myself. I wouldn't probably take them to the shows or anything though. They would just be a colony for myself. But I don't know. It's just I've got so much on my plate. Having more sort of personal colonies is sort of I got to put a lot of thought into it before I add anything to the collection. Really. I've got the termites and that new Mesa colony on top of my 3 dive colonies, trap jaws, these ones, my Nigers, what have we got there, Tet bees, my leaf cutters. We haven't got many personal colonies at the minute, I will say, not many, just a few, but I've got so many other animals which I have to care for, you know, and not just animals, plants, and just everything. You know, there's a lot to do all the time. So adding another pet in is always a little bit. That roach isn't fully gone yet, is it? It's still wiggling. They'll get him. once he goes into a nest, you'll never see it again. They'll put him on top of the larvae and just cover them in more larvae and just let them have their feel. And that'll be that. So what else? So we've been booking in loads of events. I told you I've been super tired and not really done a lot, but I am going to be doing a massive website update in the next few days. As soon as I sit down and sort of crack on with it, it's going to have a few new stock items going on. I did add some the other day, some more millipedes and ant teddies, and just a few things like that have gone on the website. But there will be some more new stock heading on there soon. Some more information in the news and events and etc, bits and bobs. You know how it is. As soon as I get round to it, I will do that. And yeah, that's pretty much everything that I have on my list that I was going to talk about. But feel free to ask me any questions, comments, or anything like that at a minute. Otherwise, I'm probably going to start heading towards the end of the stream. I'm super sorry it's been a quick one tonight, but like I said, I literally haven't done much. Like, I've been booking things in for the shows. I was thinking earlier, I'm going to talk more about the Bristol show than the Weymouth show, because although the Weymouth show is first, it's more of a local event, than invert event. You know what I mean? It's about the local history, culture, and nature. Although it will draw people from further afield, I think mixing it with my ant events has become confusing, and I don't want it to be seen as an ant exhibition as much as it is. Right? You know what I mean? It's not a great ant exhibition. It is the Jurassic Coast Wild exhibition. It's completely separate. Does that make sense? So I'm probably going to talk more about the Bristol event and the Sheffield event on this channel than the Weymouth event, apart from really close to the time, obviously. But I'm trying to make that sort of separation between the two types of event that I host, because they are different. Although the Weymouth one, like last year, was a lot of invert traders. It was much like another invert show. This year it's sort of moved away from so many invert traders. We've still got invert traders. Thank you very much, Karen. See you later. Thank you. We've still got invert traders coming, but there'll be a range of other stuff as well. It won't be so much heavily dependent on the invert traders. Obviously, last year I was just starting out with the Weymouth show, so we relied a lot on the traders that I already had good connections with, things like that. But yeah, so the Weymouth show is going to be a brilliant show, and I'm super excited about it. But I'm going to talk more about the Bristol and Sheffield show on this channel. We've already started taking in some bookings for Sheffield next year. Looks like we're probably going back to the same venue at the stadium. It was an absolutely beautiful venue. Obviously, it's not confirmed yet. I'm not going to confirm it for a few more months, but that's more than likely where we're going to go. We've already got some really cool stuff booked in. I'm not going to divulge any of it yet because it's like a whole year away. That's madness. I can't talk about that. Anyways, the Bristol event, we all know it's going to be spectacular. I am working, you could say night and day, but it's not. It's basically whenever I'm awake. Putting that show together, like it's really looking spectacular. There's been certain things that I've had to go, no, that's too much. It's too far. Take it back and step. Let's go back. And I've had to restrain myself a bit because I really do I just wanted to go all out with it. I've seen where I wanted to go, and we're sort of in a position to do that now. But obviously, it's whether it's not whether it's worth it, because that sounds silly. It's whether it's going to be wanted yet or not. But yeah, it's going to be good. I've got so much training to do, not myself, but I've got to give training. Luckily, so back when I used to work for the council, part of my job was to train people. I used to train police officers, nurses, school teachers, foster carers, social workers, elected members like councillors. I used to have a lot to do with a lot of people, basically. So then isn't that for have many years of experience of giving training, but it's sort of different when they're because all of my staff and my friends as well, everyone that works for me helps me, not they they're good friends. Like they come round, and it's more like that than work, and it's hard to explain. But yeah, everyone that works for me is my friend. I've got completely lost now. Oh, that's it. So like training them is just not awkward, but a bit fun, I suppose. It's very different to training like professionals in that sort of council environment. But yes, there is lots to do with training up my staff ready for the next shows. Obviously, we have our interactive learning area. I will be on that most of the day, but I will be needing staff to help me, so I need to have them fully trained up as well. With what I want them to do and how to do things, you know what I mean? How to deliver these courses that we're going to be providing. And yeah, things like that. So it's going to be good. There's a lot of work to do, but I'm super excited about all of it. And obviously, it's nothing that really phases me because I've done bits and bobs of it before, and everything else I work out on the go, won't I? Like I normally do. But yeah, it should be good. It should be good. I've got a few other things that I'm looking into. Yeah, beat them into shape. That's it. I've got a few other things that I'm looking into, like events that I might host, but completely irrelevant to inverts. But I've got events license. I've got licenses for this and that and everything else. So I could look into all sorts. It's interesting, isn't it? Someone raised the idea with me. Basically, I used to play the drums myself, and I'm really heavily involved in. Well, I won't say heavily involved in the music scene locally, not anymore. But I do know everyone who is still heavily involved in the music scene locally. So, like, there's no reason why I couldn't do some kind of music-based event. I don't know. There's lots of possibilities. It's interesting to think about, isn't it? But I wouldn't be doing it under an exhibition UK. Obviously, it would have to be something completely separate, another organisation or something. I don't know. There's a lot of thinking to do, but it could be an interesting couple of years for me. Yeah, yeah. I can't wait till August. August, I'm going on holiday for a whole week. That's when I'm going to have some time off next, and it'll be after my show, and then a week after that is the Essex Arachnid show that we're at, and then literally like a day or so after that we leave on holiday. So it should be really good and very well needed by that point. But speaking of that, I'm going to get off because I need to go to bed myself before long. So if there's nothing else coming up tonight, you know where I am if you need me. I am trying to reply to messages, but I am obviously really slow at the minute. Please bear with me. I'm not being ignorant. I'm just being rubbish. You know what I mean. Good evening, Marcus. You're right there, buddy. Thanks for popping in, man. But yes, I am going to head off. Thank you all for coming by. Thank you for listening to me ramble on and sticking by me when I'm absolutely awful at the chat show. Now, you're all absolute legends. Thank you. Thank you to our Patreon supporters, and a thank you to our sponsors as well. But as always, I'll see you again soon, Ant fans. Good night.